close to me, but one of the girls chose to use this word to describe me. And that was definitely the first racially charged incident at Wellesley where I was quite offended. And I have not forgotten about that moment, clearly, because I'm a senior now. And I think it really offended me just because the use of the word meant that she had not taken any time to get to know who I was or where I was from, and based who I was on the color of my skin, basically. And I was just really offended, and I think that I felt marginalized. I felt like ostracized from the rest of the group, particularly because it wasn't a very diverse group. There weren't many Black people there, and it was just not a positive influence on my time at Wellesley. Unfortunately, my first reaction was to pull away from those people and not necessarily to explain why it was offensive. And I think that was a bad response, because then by the time that I got the courage to explain why it was offensive, it just seemed like it was taken lightly and it was a joke. And then I don't think that they really understood how much it affected me. Using that language towards me and also just making it seem like my emotions were trivial. I don't think if someone else had said it to them, had made them realize that it was an offensive statement, calling someone ghetto, that they would change their reaction. And so I just pulled away from them.
I've always felt kind of caught between two polarized identities, and I've always felt like pressured to choose between them, either literally as in like having to just check one race on like a form, or figuratively when choosing which communities I choose to join. And even when people are not specifically like exclusive against me because of my mixed race identity, I still don't really feel like I fit into certain communities. Like in high school especially, people would tell me that I'm not really Asian, or like not Asian enough to be in certain groups, and but I was also too Asian to be white, and it was just kind of hard for me to be caught between those two sides of my identity. And people often ask like, what are you, and things like that, and that all kind of makes me feel like I don't really belong in any particular group. And it's kind of similar because I'm also bisexual, and a lot of bisexuals face erasure from straight communities and from queer communities, and they're often told to like choose, or that they're not really queer. And so both of those parts of my identity are very similar in that I often feel like I have to choose.
I have no reason to justify myself to anyone else because who I am makes them uncomfortable.
Mainstream society fetishizes us and calls us the future amalgamated mega race, which is intimidating. And even within the mixed race community, there's a hierarchy that exists, where white is prioritized, white plus that other, which is white plus usually a POC component. But what if white is not a part of our immediate ancestry? What if our ancestry doesn't fit into even 2 categories, but it doesn't fit into 3 or 4? What then?
There was also a case in which an elementary school age girl was told that her afro was a distraction to other students, and that she needed to go home and her mother needed to do something with it, that she needed to straighten it, that it was put in the same line as other abnormal hairstyles that the school had banned, such as like dyeing your hair red or like having it in a crazy cut, other things and aspects that you do to your hair that you have complete and full control over. But this little girl's natural state was considered offensive. The whole idea that black hair is something that society has to come to terms with, that it is like this fascination of a gaze coming from the external community, something that nobody else is able to understand for whatever reason, and it's not just seen as hair, is incredulous to me for a variety of reasons.
So one of the things that pisses me off the most about cultural appropriation is that it's like different people want this part of your culture without all of the other things that come with it. Like, you want to wear a bindi and you want to wear a sari because you look cute and exotic, but you don't want to have to be part of the model minority myth. You don't want to have to ascribe to things like not looking like everyone else in your classroom. You don't want the difficult things that come with being Indian. You just want the cool and fun parts of it, and that's not okay.
I think there is work definitely to gain a broader perspective on the students here. And I think that it started with the Ethnic Studies Conference, and it definitely happens when cultural organizations try to pair up and talk about issues and talk about where they're from and just get to understand each other. But I think there's definitely a greater community of people who are not a part of those cultural groups and don't really have like a comprehensive knowledge on how things that they say may offend people, and how even when people try to educate them, they don't have an open ear. They're not like open to learning how to be more sensitive to people's cultural backgrounds and just what they say to people.
At Wellesley, what's really nice is that people are generally quite accepting of me for who I am on all sides of my identity. And but I feel like we really need to work on not homogenizing all groups of people at Wellesley. Like, there's no one way to be queer. There's no one way to be a person of color or to be Asian American.
What people don't realize is that statements like this can lead to insecurity and depression. For the longest time, I thought that being black was horrible, and I would try to distance myself from all black people just so that I could be accepted, because I didn't like feeling as if I was less superior, and I didn't like feeling like people were disgusted by me just because of my skin color. But, over time, I began to realize that being black is beautiful and that I should be proud of who I am. But things like that, by saying you got into Wellesley because of affirmative action, can be hurtful. And, things like that should never be said to anyone, because we, minority students, got into Wellesley on the same merits as anyone else, and we belong just as much as everyone else does.
So I think my time at Wellesley has shown me a lot about how different people from different communities see the world, and what kind of backgrounds they bring. I think at Wellesley I've met a lot of people with similar cultural backgrounds and a lot of people with other very, very different backgrounds, and it's helped me see the advantages a diverse community can bring.
There have been multiple instances of this, not only in the news where a news anchor had her job threatened because of her natural hair and the fact that it did not meet the quote-unquote criterion, aka white criterion, of straight, presentable, even, normalized this whole idea of straight hair. I have had several instances in which my white counterparts or other counterparts in general feel comfortable putting their fingers into my hair. I don't get it.
For some of us, we're constantly navigating the space, that sort of gray space, between who we are and how we identify, and how society reads us, how society sees us. For some of us, we don't know anything other than that space. We sort of get used to it. That's probably not the right way to say it. We don't get used to it. We just sort of learn how to go through life and navigate those spaces. So it's not easy being mixed.
I believe that we should be able to feel more comfortable, prominent, and interactive members of society, not something or people that are fetishized because of this miraculous curly poof on top of our heads. Like, that should not iconicize us as a people. That should not be all that we are dwindled down to, this image, because we're so much more than that. We're pivotal members of society. We're business people, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're students, and we deserve to be treated and have that. We deserve to have that level of significance that everybody else has, regardless of the acknowledgement of this or anything else.
I too am Wesley, and I really wanted to get that for you. And there you have it. I too am Wesley. We just really wanted to get you I too, Harvard, Wesley, LVC, BCC, and this is Black History. So we wanted to bring that to you. I think those things are so important as we celebrate Black History Month. Yeah, as we celebrate Black History Month in the village with Ansem and Marjorie on the South Orange Maple Online Radio Experience. And we're going to continue to bring these type of information to you. You know, time check, the time is approximately 9:42 p.m. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See ya. Same soul more time, same soul more channel. Later. And we always give you this new song before we go. Bye.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the road.